This cost-benefit system that you want, which, yeah, we do need to an extent, decent chance that that means your grandparents might not have been allowed to come and you wouldn't be in this country. That's still something you'd support?
All right, so in the heated debate over immigration that is constantly happening in the UK, where do you draw the line between policy and cruelty? Well, in this call, you'll see that Ben Kentish pushes a caller to the absolute limit, forcing him to confront the true cost of his own beliefs. And what happened is one of the most stunning moments I remember hearing on LBC in a long time. If you want to see more videos like this, show your support by hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Now let's watch this together, and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end.
Of course. I just think Britain's broken at the minute. I feel like, to put it as an analogy, if you're running short of cash in your house, you've got to go through a financial situation of how much money you have, what's for extras, what's for some necessities. And I feel like this whole situation with the migration, besides for the whole politics and the parties and Nigel Farage and all these other things, there's an element here where you see the average person on the street who's paying his taxes struggling at the minute, whereas he sees these people coming to the hotels, getting their new phones, doing nothing, getting pocket money, and we just seem to think that it seems to be that it's a given that we will have migration and we will allow people to come in. I understand there's an element here of people who are fleeing persecution and things like that, but there has to be some sort of cost-benefit analysis. And I believe that across the parties, you have here like the new party, which is going to be basically all freebies for everybody, which is going to be attractive to a lot of people, especially those people who are already getting the freebies, think, hey, there's a new party, we can join along it. A lot of Labour's promises were along those sort of lines, will allow benefits, will allow refugees, will be very, very attractive. The problem is that financially these things don't actually work.
I mean, that's not what Keir Starmer's Labour Party was promising, sir.
It's not officially been said like that, but it's a well-known fact that Keir Starmer and the Labour Party are predominantly, their fan base is predominantly amongst those who, what shall we say, benefit from the state help. Whereas when it comes to financial difficulties, which is exactly what they're having.
Don't we all benefit from the state? Do you use the NHS?
Of course we all benefit from the state, but we also all have to contribute. And if it's something that we can't afford to donate to, we have to sometimes turn down people and say, unfortunately, you'll get emotional callers coming on and saying, well, what do you mean these people are fleeing persecution? How can you say no to them? Of course, there is an element of we have to take in people, but there has to be a cost-benefit analysis. And we have to sometimes think, you know what, we have to make a quota, we have to work things, regulations coming out, but it can't just be this freebie, people just coming in. We see all these gimmicks coming on with the one in, one out. We see the Rwanda. These are all jokes. Yeah, we have to come up with a real system. My grandparents were refugees, but we have to come up with a system where we can't just keep inviting people. It doesn't make sense that someone who's paying his taxes is watching someone else coming in for free without anything going on about it.
This cost-benefit system that you want, which, yeah, we do need to an extent, decent chance that that means your grandparents might not have been allowed to come and you wouldn't be in this country. That's still something you'd support?
Yes, that is something I would support. I would support a system where it makes sense. It's not just about the financial aspect, but there has to be a broader outlook here. We can't just have people saying on any time any party makes any sort of move against any migration, that's racism.
But you'd support a system that might have meant your own grandparents were deported from this country?
100%. We can't have a policy.
Supported your grandparents being deported?
Potentially, yes. If that's what we have to think at this stage, we have to think of
what. So if they were here, Sam, they came here as refugees, and under this system, it was decided that 20 years later it was safe for them to go home. You would have been happy for the British state to deport your own grandparents?
I would be very unhappy as it is now if that was be the case, telling them now. But I would also be unhappy if you told me that 1,000 years ago, if people didn't pay more taxes, we wouldn't have the NHS.
But I just want to be clear. You would support potentially your own grandparents having been deported?
I'm not saying that I would want my grandparents to be deported, but I would support a country that has.
But they might have been under the system that Shabana Mahmood is now introducing. They might have lived here 20 years. They might have started. They'd start a family. You're part of it. They might have been working. They might have started a business. They might have been volunteering in their local community. None of it would matter to the government under the new system, because if it was safe for them to go home, then off they go.
I fully understand that, but what we have to get over is that there has to be a point of a system is in place. People will suffer. If you're going to go around with the emotional aspect of people being deported,
it is emotional.
you just may as well open up the borders because.
But Sam, when you say emotional,
it has to be emotional.
It is emotional. If we are deporting people who've built a life in this country, you cannot take the emotion out of it. You can't say, "I'm sorry, it's sad, bye-bye."
But 100%. But it has to be policy based. You can't just have. Well, it feels bad that these people will be removed.
But there's no sort of objective answer here. There's no kind of completely emotionless, cold, calculated. What's the idea? This comes back to values, and you have to sort of pit the value of, as you say, fairness and living within our means and so on, against the values of decency and compassion. And for me, saying to somebody, well, you've been in this country 20 years, you've got kids here, they've never actually set foot in the country that you fled from, but we think it's safe for you to go home, so your entire family is being deported, which is what the government is talking about today. I don't think that sounds like decency and compassion. There is a risk that we go too far the other way, then this clamour, this desperation to see who can sound the toughest on migration and be the harshest. We risk losing any values at all in this debate, Sam. So when you say emotion, to me, there's what I interpret that as not emotion, but as values in this conversation, which are going out the window rapidly, if you ask me.
Wow. So the caller Sam, whose own grandparents came to this country as refugees, just said on the radio he would 100% support a system that would have sent them away. And this is the entire immigration debate boiled down into one devastating exchange. It's not about numbers anymore, it's about values. Ben's smart move here wasn't arguing them facts, it was setting a moral trap. He asked the one question the caller couldn't escape. He forced Sam to apply his cold cost-benefit logic to his own flesh and blood. And Sam walked right into it. He chose the abstract idea of a system over the concrete reality of his own family's survival. In other words, he chose ideology over humanity. And this is what happens when political talking points go too far. They sever us from our own history, from our own compassion. The host didn't just win an argument, he exposed the dangerous end game of this kind of thinking. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please show your support by hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.